Hello, my name is Greg Niederhaus with GworXTaiwan. I'm working in conjunction with FORTUNE Fine Woodworking tools, and part of my job is to help them come up with new tricks and ideas, jigs, and products. What I've got here is a XYZ mill, 3-axis mill DIY setup for a half-inch router, and the system basically will take any half-inch router on the planet, as far as I know. Fortune has given me 2 of these straight edge clamps, and I'm using them as linear guideways on which this saddle can move back and forth. That's axis number 1. Axis number 2 is up and down height set of the router, and axis number 3 is this action here. Okay, I'll say more about this. What I'll say more is what it can handle. It can handle 24 inches span that way, and it can handle limited length because it's a through feed system, and your stock can be up to 4 inches in height. Right now it's set at 3.5, but that's because these linear guides are not buried down flush with this surface yet. That's a change I'll be making. Most routers have an attachment where your dust extraction hose can go right on there, and the riser that I've included in this system takes your cord and that hose out of your way, so when you're working there's no inhibition of your activities. So let's put this thing in action and see what it can do. When you've got a whole bunch of solid wood butt joined together to make a tabletop, for example, it's going to tend to cup and bow throughout the seasons. One way of stabilizing that is to create a dovetail sliding stabilizing piece, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make the dovetail groove. We used this piece of wood on the other side to mill it flat. It was cupped. It's cupped here and it was bowed on the other side. And we milled it flat first. Then we put a straight groove in it, a dado joint. That can also be a dovetail slide. And then what we did was taper it. We put a block underneath it and we tapered it from 3.5 inches down to 2.5 inches there. And you might be able to see that. And you can see that the remaining finish is going to require minimal sanding. And I sure wish I had this a few years ago. So this is an example of what you could make with this contraption. Before, years ago, I made this walnut butcher block, and it's got side splashes and a back splash, and then it's flat in front. And you can do that all on that contraption. Before, my setup was 2x4s on either side, clamped in place. And then a big piece of plywood with my router mounted to it, set my depth, and then just work blind in circles and constantly be checking, oh, I missed that spot, I missed that spot. Finally get it flat, okay, great. But I had to worry about these. And the side splashes had to be comb joined first and then shaped. The side splashes had to first be comb joined dry and then shaped on an upside down router in the router table with this bit. And then we had to fade them to match. But with the setup over there, let me show you how that would go down. So if I could go back in time and redo this, I'd set up for the milling operation with a longer bit like you see here and clean it up. This would all be clamped in place. Then I would swap over to this round shaper bit here and shape it along all these here. And in order to do that, with that bit installed, I'd have the router clamped in place and make my pass. And I'd have a stop right there. And I'd undo the clamps and I'd go that way. And then I'd be in this position over here. And I'd come over here to my next stop and make my next pass. Or just start from here. Work my way over and finish off here. Done. That would have saved me a lot of time. So there we go. That's one of the many products you could produce in this contraption here.